Hello and good morning.
Good
Happy
morning.
Saturday. So this is a great topic, and we were literally just speaking about that this is all about selling with the senses and giving the buyer kind of that tingle when they do the viewing. And we speak about this so often that it's not just about what they see. We need to trigger all of their senses. We really do, because we people are driven by emotion, and that is what we're looking for. Whether it be, I don't know, have you baked in the morning perhaps and there's a smell of fresh bread or some pastries going on, or have you got like layered textures that are adding the warmth that way, and then it adds that feel to it. Tones in your furniture, perhaps in the background is some kind of calming music. It's a bit like in the supermarkets, isn't it? They're very strategic in their like music. It's either like you're up to 99 and it's like fast music, or it's like slow, and it's almost doing the same. It's all about the sensory marketing and what is all around us. And it's for a reason, because it does work. Emotion drives sales. So selling your home should be absolutely no different.
Mhm.
And you'll probably remember that feeling that you got when where you live now, perhaps, that special something that captures your heart beyond the layout and the location and the kind of bricks and mortar of the property. Um, every detail kind of shapes a viewing, from the scent in the air to the colours on the walls.
Mm.
It is really kind of an art that is perfected. But if you're not really too sure, then that this is what this show is all about, to give you some amazing hints and tips and insights, to really help with those kind of sensory viewings for buyers. But what would you say some of them are, Perry?
Oh, I think they're really simplistic things actually, and you probably are doing them without realizing you're doing it. So this
Yeah.
is really just about giving you some tips on how to fine tune it a little bit, I guess. So make your house, become a sight for sore eyes, stand out from everyone else. So I think that's a real big key. So we're going to talk about that, and also give them what they want to hear. So again, we'll talk about that, and that could be what you're speaking to them about, but it's also, as you said, Sophie, if you've got music on, if you've got nice sounds going on, is your windows closed if you're busy with the traffic? Are they open if you're by the sea? So we're going to talk about all those things. Get up their nose a little bit as well, in a good way. And by that, we're talking, as you say, the senses. So there's nothing worse if they walk into your kitchen and there's a real funky smell. So it's about, how do you make that nice for them, and how do you make that pleasant way to walk through? Because kitchens are always the one, aren't they? Because we do all the cooking in there. So we'll talk about that. And also how to master the kind of soft touches with textures, and with colour. But also for you to be able to demonstrate to that viewer the lifestyle that they're going to have from the property. So, what does it offer to them? Um, you're constantly engaging with them without realizing you're doing it. And that's
Yeah.
really what you want to do. What you don't want is for them just to doing a quick whirl around the house and walking out because they haven't felt it. So cultivate a compelling and positive connection with your house, um, for them, because I think that's really important. And make your house unforgettable compared to everyone else's, because at the moment, the way the market is, we're seeing much more property coming to market at the moment. So how do you stand out from everyone else? So give them an unforgettable impression of your house, and we're going to talk about how that would work. And we're going to start with the becoming a sight for sore eyes. So for me, I think before anybody views your property, you absolutely need to make sure that your property is ready. Um, you want to be playing around a little bit with regards to the photography that we take. So again, it's about making sure that we capture the key elements of the house, but also the wow things of the house. You know what it's like yourself, Sophie. I've done it when we're looking at property listings, and you get to the third photo, you think, nah, I'm not going to bother looking at any of the others. So if
Mhm.
your brilliant hit home photos are at the end, people are not going to see that. So you need to capture them right at the beginning. So
Yeah.
we often say it's something like people make their decision literally within about 4/10 of a second of walking into your property, or even on the listing. It's like swipe left, swipe right. So you don't want to be a swipe. So it's definitely about how you get that and how you engage those individuals who want to view your property. Um, and how you follow those viewings through as well determines whether the offers will come in and if they're going to be favourable for you as well. And I think that's a really big thing. So it's not just about preparing and during, it's also what happens after, and the art of that negotiation as well with your agent. So that's a real big thing. But in effect, what you want to do is create a positive visual impression. So we're going to do that with your photographs, of course. that's the foundation of the success, because if they first look at that listing and they don't get that wow factor, it's not going to lead to a viewing. So the rest of the show, you might as well clock off now, because it doesn't really matter to you. So absolutely, that's really important for you. You want to influence your buyers. You want to give them a perception that they are absolutely tuned into everything that you're saying, and also that you're giving them all of your attention and that they're the only person that matters, because the house should be theirs. You want everyone to have that experience, irrelevant if you've got one viewer or 10 viewers coming on that day. You want every single one of them to have the same experience, because we often have this ourselves, and I get this feedback from sellers. You know, they may do 3 or 4 viewings and think, oh, it didn't go very well, that one. And actually, the didn't go very well one is generally the one that buys the house, because it's just the perception that you have. But it's definitely about getting yourself prepared. So what does that look like? Fresh feeling decor. I think that's really important. So whether your style is neutral, pastel, bold, or white, it's really important, I think, to make that stand out, but give everything a good washing down and make sure that it's clean. You know, especially if you've got animals in the house, it's a big thing. So if you've got dogs in the property, and you know, we all say we're not going to do it. I did it with mine. He'll not be getting on the sofas. He'll not be getting on the bed. They do. We all know that. So, you know, it's just freshen those linens up and make sure that they're really popping, and that they're not, the smell of dog is not always great, but also hairs. There might be a little bit of dirt from when they've been out to the beach or whatever. So really make sure everything's nice and fresh. And when we talk about the neutrals and the bolds, we've got a property on at the moment, actually, and I did 4 viewings at it yesterday, and the feedback from every one of them was that whilst there was lots of colour in the house, it was all done with accessories, but actually the neutrality of the walls in the kitchen and the bedrooms, etc., once all the colour came out, you could then go in and create whatever you wanted to. So there's definitely ways of doing it without getting too funky with your painting and what have you. So definitely accessorizing is a good thing. Calming the chaos is a big thing as well. So reduce anything that's kind of in your floor space. So you want to get away that clutter. So that's a big thing for us as well. We often talk about this. Nobody wants to go into your kitchen and your bunker's full of stuff. They want to see that they can actually prepare food in there. Nobody wants to walk into the hallway and there's shoe racks overflowing. So again, just make sure that that's nice and tidy as well, because actually that can put an off-putting thing, can't it? We often see that, not just how it looks, but actually even, I want to use the word funky again, but even from that, you know, you walk in the front door and the first thing you've got is the smell of all the shoes. That often happens with us, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not nice. Definitely not nice. No.
We'll go to do valuations and you'll see, and that's definitely some of the recommendations I would give. So yeah, calm your floors, declutter. And again, if you're not sure about decluttering, we have got a link for that, so we'll share that with you, and that can help you prepare for that as well. Excess furniture as well, whilst it's great and you're used to living with it, if you're walking in, especially hallways, I find everyone wants to have nice hallways. I get that, and you'll have maybe little narrow sideboards and mirrors and pots and, you know, flowers in them, and you'll have lamps, etc. And that's great. You live there all the time. But when someone walks in, they don't know that they need to kind of shift up a little bit to get past that. So if they're bumping into furniture in hallways, instantly they're not thinking, well, I can just move that. They're thinking, I can't move in this hallway.
Yes.
And they're not thinking about how they can create the space. So suddenly, before they've even gone any further in the house, they're thinking, this is small. This is not what I was expecting.
Yeah,
and
no storage. Yeah. Absolutely. I was valuing a property yesterday, and obviously I was like, right, perfect, take me on the tour, let me see. And we went upstairs and we started, and they went, right, this is the smallest bedroom. Walked in and I was like, oh, okay. And they went, yeah, we've just never known how to configure it. Like, it's just really small. It's just a box room. And I said, okay. Says, can I give you a recommendation if I'm going to be bringing it to market, if it was me? And it was just the placement of the furniture. What you need to do is put that up there, move that into that space and put that there. And they were like, oh,
yeah,
we thought of it. And sometimes it is actually just a fresh pair of eyes or somebody new coming into it, doing that for you. And it was a case of, look, are you happy for me to give you would you rather me just tell you and we get the property sold? Because if the first thing you're doing when you're bringing me into this room is going, oh, it's really small, don't know what to do with it, actually just reconfiguring the furniture that's already there. And they're like, we'll do that as soon as you've gone. And I was like, perfect, there we go.
It makes a big difference.
It does, definitely.
I did a valuation of a property last week, and it's actually the same scenario. There was lots of items in this house. It really needed a massive declutter. And I went to do the pre-portal the other day after the discussions, and obviously they decided to list with us, and I gave them good advice on what to do. And when I went to do the pre-portal, it was like a whole different place. It just was fantastic, the amount of space that was on offer, but I couldn't see that space. So if I couldn't see it, everyone else was not going to see it as well. But it's really great when they take on board that guidance and then they change it, because actually I walked in and I was like, wow, this looks fantastic now. So it really does help to get that kind of outside influence, because you're constantly living in that environment as well. It's difficult sometimes for you to see that, isn't it? So that's a really good one. So I think making it bright and breezy as well, get a good vibe created, maximize your natural lights. So again, using mirrors, making sure that if you are doing viewings that you've got your blinds open, your curtains open. That's really important. Cleaning windows is a big thing for me as well. This is something we always forget to do, but it's such a massive thing, especially if you've got a captivating view, whether that be a sea view or even a view into your garden. People want to see what's on offer, so really important to make sure that you do that. Metal surfaces as well. You know, a lot of us have got the chrome light switches. It's nothing worse if you go into a property and it's got all the sticky fingers from the kids and what have you on the chrome. So just small little things that you can really nip round and do that. Cost effective as well. It doesn't cost you anything to do that except a little bit of time, isn't it? So I think that's a really important one as well.
Definitely.
Give them what they want to hear is probably our next thing. And what they don't want to hear is my dog barking, but they are getting to hear him. Jock's joining the Saturday show yet again.
There we go. He's trying to get a guest appearance. There we go.
So give them what they want to hear. Very apt. What does that look like?
Yes, he knows his cues, definitely. Perfect. So silence, you know, can be golden in certain circumstances. Perhaps a little like background noise. It can also elevate your viewings if there is more of a relaxed and kind of welcoming atmosphere. I'm not saying obviously have the radio blaring, but just something calming in the background. Or as even you've touched on, having like the windows open if you're in like a countryside setting, because there's nothing better than actually hearing the birds in the background and the tweeting and the chirping. Like that just again adds into the lifestyle. But whether it be that soft instrumental kind of music, low volume in the background, and it does just help make it almost feel less, if it's like clinical or like, I don't know, echoey. If you have perhaps got a garden space that is full of, you know, birds and wildlife, or even perhaps is there water close by and you can hear it trickling, or are you by the sea and you can hear the waves crashing, let them hear that from the inside out as well, and bring that in as it just as simple as opening your windows, or if you've got patio doors and having the patio doors open, or you're perhaps a property that you could have your front doors open, you've actually got a secondary door as well, or just play about with it. But as you obviously touched on at the beginning, Perrie, if you're in an area that's a bit more built up, and if you're perhaps on a main road, maybe for the viewings, keep them close. We're not emphasizing on the fact. Something to do as well, and I do this in my videos, and you're probably the same, Perrie, is if there is doors perhaps or anything that creaks, or, you know, try and avoid opening them at the viewings. I know I do it in my videos. I'll pause, open it, and ta-da! Like, there's nothing worse than hearing like a old creak and thinking I need the WD-40 on that, or like if you know there's a specific area that has really creaky floorboards, try and avoid everybody congregating, or if it can't be helped, it can't be helped. But what are we doing to try and minimize the squeaky hinges, or perhaps a rattling handle, or just little things? And it again all adds to that, what they want to hear, but also what they don't want to hear. Because again, it's a mindset thing. So if they do step on a creaky floorboard, or they constantly hear floorboards, people's mindset then starts to obviously run away with themselves. Noise is a positive thing, and it's in a positive influence that really does contribute again to that lifestyle and somebody picturing themselves in your home. And that's why we will continuously say people are driven by all of their senses. So we want to hone in on that and make it relaxing and allow them to connect with your home ultimately. That is ultimately what we're looking for. Or even if you go into an old building and they've got like a grandfather clock and that's ticking away in the background, even that's a lovely sound. There's so many different ways that you can really emphasize the lifestyle of your home.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. The creaky door things is a big thing. Nobody wants to hear that because it just sounds like you've not maintained the house. I know it's a silly thing, but actually it's a really basic thing, and it often happens. We'll open doors and it creaks. So yeah, definitely need to attention to that. I think that we go on to next for me is all about the smell then, isn't it? And getting up people's noses. For me, smell is a really positive or negative emotion that people experience. And the first thing your buyer will do when they walk in that house is take a deep breath. They'll breathe in.
Yes.
And whatever they smell then will actually set the tone for the whole of that viewing. It will determine how they feel about your property. So absolutely, you want to make that a nice experience. So for me, it's scented candles, it's reed diffusers, it's oil aromats. People want to smell that. You know, your ambers, your lilies, lavender's a big thing for me. I'm not a vanilla person. Lots of people like it, but I'm not a vanilla person. I'm more the kind of spring smelling things. But you get those into your house, that's a real big thing. And that really enhances then the experience instantly that they walk into the door. I had that with a property recently, actually. And even in the video, I said, I wish I had smell-o-vision because this house smells amazing. And actually, it stuck in the heads of the people that watched that, then came to view it, because actually instantly they walked in, they said to me, Perrie, you're right, the house, it smells amazing. So that had stuck in their mind. They're thinking, I want to experience that smell. So really important that you get that feeling from your buyer. Fresh foliage is a big thing as well. At the moment, we've got lots of nice spring, and some of the summer flowers are coming in, and I think fresh foliage is nice. People want to see blooms because it doesn't just give the scent, but it also gives a visual positive too. So that kind of covers the senses that you're seeing and also that you're smelling. So I think that's a real big positive one as well. Citruses are a good thing as well. Even herbs are good. You know, if you've got fresh mint, I've done it myself when I've gone in to value a house, and maybe I shouldn't, but I have. I've gone into the kitchen and I've seen the mint, and instantly you want to rub the leaves, and before you know it, you're smelling your fingers, and it's just a really positive smell, isn't it? So I think that's really important. I think it's really uplifting for your viewer. One thing I will say though, and often I've gone to properties and I've experienced this, where actually rather than have any of this around, what the person has maybe done in advance is run through with an air freshener spray and just scooshed it everywhere through the house. Actually, for me, that's a negative thing, because what it does is it smells firstly really artificial. There's nothing natural about it. It can also be overpowering. You could walk in, take a deep breath, and before you know it, you're coughing on whatever's been sprayed. And also, you know, for me, lastly, what are you hiding with doing that? So, you know, what are you trying to camouflage? Whereas if you've got all the natural smells all the time, then it's telling you that that house smells natural all the time, and this is how it will be. But if you've sprayed, you're thinking, are they covering the smell of mold? Are they covering, you know what I mean? Is it the dog smell? Is it the smoking smell? There could be various reasons, and all of that instantly is a negative. So go with all the initial things that we've said and do the positive stuff would be my big tip, because they are really common mistakes to do artificial air fresheners. They're not great. They're very off-putting, and actually people do wonder what you're hiding.
When you spray it that much as well, I've had it before where they've sprayed that much, and literally just before you come through the door, they've done that much, it's actually then all fallen to the floor, and it's actually made the floor slippy. And then you've actually made it, it's a wee bit slippy because they've sprayed that much. So just be cautious of that as well.
Yeah,
please.
Definitely go with the natural things would be my advice, because people will appreciate that when they come into your home. So what should they be looking at next then, Sophie?
Touch and texture, a bit like how you said, Perrie, when you walk in and you see mint and you automatically go to touch it. That's what a lot of people do when we see gorgeous textures. You automatically want to just go and brush it or touch it or feel it. Whether it is in your fixtures, your fittings, the way that you furnish, the way that you accessorize, there is so many ways that buyers can make those kind of physical contacts on viewings, and we want it to be a positive, encouraging touch and a feel and a process. Whether it be draping soft throws on sofas or your armchairs, there's cushions on beds, laying rugs perhaps, unless you've got a gorgeous flooring that you don't want to lay a rug, then that's understandable. But it's all about adding that luxury and making it feel comfortable without doing overkill though. You don't want to go OTT with it. And then something else you've touched on, having your kitchen worktops and splashbacks. One, having them clear and clutter free, but also making sure they're clean. Because there's nothing worse than I've seen it where somebody goes in and that's a gorgeous worktop gone like that, and then you can see they try and hide the hand and like discreetly. They're trying to do it discreetly and respectfully, but like kind of giving the hand a wee wipe afterwards, and there is nothing worse than that. Even though it's something
not a great thing.
Yeah, something so minuscule can have such a big impact. You just don't want that at all. And whether it be then as well incorporating textured decorated items like baskets and even like woven baskets. You've got your blankets, you've got wall hangings as well. But again, don't go overkill on it. You've obviously touched on before, Perrie, about your reel of 3, 5, or 7. Bring that into effect. But really think about adding the touch element of it and really staging the home and dressing it. And if you're looking for inspiration, then there's so much free inspiration out there on how to do it, whether it be Instagram, whether it be TikTok, Pinterest. There's so many different like mediums that you can go to on how to get, and even just simple tips. And it can be so inexpensive either. We're not asking you to go and spend a lot of money on adding this texture and the warmth and the feel. And again, I'm taking another one of your top tips, Perrie, but another one that you've given before is even just moving things around from other rooms and just mixing it up. Even that way, it can have a big impact. And again, it's another inexpensive option, but it's another great way.
And I've advised quite a few clients to do that when I've maybe gone into one room that's slightly bare and then another room that's overflowing, saying, actually, if you mix and matched a few things and spread them around the property, it would have a more impactful effect. So you're right, you don't need to necessarily be spending money. And if you are, go to B&M's, go to Home Bargains. They're 10 a penny, it's costing you nothing really. So that's a real good economical way to do things. But I think as well as all of those tips that you're giving, I think what people want to also experience when they come to view a house is actually what lifestyle potential that they can get from that property. So I think for me, absolutely, make sure that you've got a nice smelling house, make sure that you've given them a taste of the lifestyle that they could get. And if this was their property, what could they get? So focus on your home's social side, I think is a big thing for me. I think, the property I was viewing with the other day, open plan kitchen, living room, you've got the sunroom at the back, and instantly you're going in there. It's staged perfectly, but you're actually showing that social space. And one of the feedbacks I had is, this really is fantastic, because actually at home, my kitchen is separate to my dining space or my lounge. So when everyone's out enjoying the social aspect, I'm stuck in the kitchen. So it's making sure that you've got all these things that really open your house up. So stage it nicely as well. So make sure that it kind of is looking though you can bring your families together, your friends together in that space. Entertaining for dining, whatever really it is that you're looking to do with them, chilling out and just enjoying some music or whatever. So I think that's really important. Make sure that it's got silly things like even just having placemats around. Placemats instantly show people that that's where they can sit. I know that sounds daft, but it does. So instantly you're kind of walking in, you're saying that you think, we can get 6 people around that, because there's 6 placemats there. It's really simplistic, but again, it's a confusion of the mind that actually then explains a real good use of space. So that's really important. I think table runners are a great thing as well on dining tables, because actually they make the tables look longer. So again, it's inviting and it makes it look as though you want to sit around there with lots of people. So that's a big thing. And as I said with the placemats, not only does it invite you to sit down, but actually it shows you that that is the gathering spot in the property. So again, you're instantly thinking, that's fantastic. I could sit here with all my friends and this would really work. So that's really important. If you've got gardens and balconies as well, really stage them well, because I think that's a real big important thing. We've had some beautiful weather recently, haven't we? So people want to understand how they can use that outside space. So outside lounging, outside dining, if you've got entertainment areas, again, I'm referencing this house again, but it's got like a fantastic outside bar and hot tub and all those things. Whether it's your thing or it's not your thing, it shows that you can entertain in that area, and people really want to see that. People are buying a particular property for the lifestyle that it brings to their family, and so they want to be able to visualize the fact that they could live there and that their children can enjoy it, their elders can enjoy it, and it's really important to show that off. Again, if you have got entertainment and dining space outside, make it comfortable. So nice furnishings, throws, cushions, simplistic things again that kind of complete that being outside feeling, isn't it?
Yes.
And enjoying it. And actually, if you have the blankets there as well, people are thinking, well, actually, if I get a little bit cooler, especially if you're maybe granny's coming for a drink or lunch and granny's thinking, oh, I'm going to get a bit cold.
Get
The throws
cozy.
there, yeah, the throws there, and instantly they're not feeling that they want to go indoors and miss out on anything. They can feel that they can still sit outside and enjoy it with everyone else. So simple little things that you can do that can kind of trick the mind for people. So that's a really important one. Also, again, if it's someone who doesn't particularly know your local area, make sure you can educate the buyer on what's available to them. So what local events go on? Is there a town hall if you're in a kind of village environment, and what goes on there? You know, if you're near the golf club, is it open to the public? Can I go in there? Do I need to be a member? Can I get food? Can I just go in for drinks? If I'm actively a cyclist or a runner, what walks in areas around here can I do that? If I've got a dog, where can I walk them? Is there nice woodlands? So really educate the person that, again, that's coming to view the property. I had that experience recently with someone who was moving from Kinross actually into Fife, and they were moving to one of our villages, didn't really know the area, and suddenly they're down in Leven, they're having ice cream, they drove to Markinch to walk around because they're interested in the Highland Games, and all of these things I educated them on, and they went and experienced those things before they decided to buy the house, because they were thinking, we want to be involved in our community, so what can I enjoy? So it's really important that you do educate them on that. I think that's a real big thing.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think that then allows them to believe that that house can be their own, and that they're not looking at your house.
Yes.
It's how can this work for me? And I think that's a really important thing. I think it inspires them to actually move forward, and that's what you want. You want all of these tips that we're giving are inspirations for you to get that person to put a favourable offer forward. That's what we're looking for ultimately with all of this stuff that we're sharing with you.
100%, definitely.
What's your kind of final thoughts on what else we can perhaps guide on?
It's just a case of, if you're not too sure, then educate yourself with shows like this, ask your agent, because ultimately, as you said, that is our main goal, is to get you that best offer in a hassle-free way, of course. So watch this show, speak to your agent, and your agent should be able to guide you on all of these things. Because we always say make informed decisions. Ultimately, it's your biggest asset. So obviously you want it to be as successful as possible. And just say to them, look, I would rather, I'm not going to be offended, just be honest with me. And then we're more than happy to. But this is great as well doing these shows, because anybody can put in the comments their hints and tips, and even some cost-effective options as well. So if you are watching this and you've got any, then feel free to put them in the comments. We always like to see.
Absolutely. And I think that's the big thing for me as well. When you're living in your home, they give feedback, as you said earlier, Sophie, where they say, oh, I don't know what to do with this room, or actually my home will sell really easily because it's beautiful. You have your own view of it. Remember, you've got to try and flip that, because it's not your view of your house. It's the view that they are experiencing when they come to the house. So absolutely take on board the feedback that your agent will give you, because they can really direct you in the best way to get your property sold. And be open-minded to that as well. I think that's a really positive thing. And that's it for me.
Perfect. There we go. Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'm sure we'll see you for another show.
Thank you. Take care all.
Bye for now. Take care.
Bye.